Okay, hello and welcome to the third episode of Modeling Uncorked. We're still working our way through the Malbec. Okay, so today I want to talk about the Gumball, which is a super essential function of 3D modeling. You'll use it every time you 3D model, except for in the first two videos, we did not really use it. But then again, was that really 3D modeling? Yes, it was. Okay, so we're going to start with a quick refresher. Again, the left click button selects. There's two different kinds of select. You see the solid line and the dashed line. The right clicking zooms around. Shift and the right will pan. So that's called, it's called panning. And then control and the right click will zoom in. And then the scroll wheel is another type of zooming in and out. Okay, so we're going to start by coming over here, doing the same thing as last time, grabbing this block right here. And just for you to know, there's also other symbols. If you click this little arrow next to it, and that is pretty much true for all of the different mechanics. There's a bunch of different selections for just really everything. But for now, we're just going to stick with the basic block. And once you'll have it, you'll notice it's got that little diamond. If you don't have it, probably you didn't click on it enough. You can press escape to get out of it if you're not sure what you clicked on and you're confused. Go ahead and press escape and get out of it. Okay, click on the box. Again, I liked the very center of the grid, so 0, 0, press enter, and that gets you right to the very middle of your grid. And then I liked the 15 by 15 we did last time. And as a side note, last time I didn't press any metric defining symbols because I was in feet. And that's the same thing true for any metric you're in. Whatever the one that you selected, that would be its default whenever you press any numbers anywhere else. So if I just pressed 15, it would do 15 feet. But I want to make sure, so I'll put the feet sign next to it, 15 feet, and then 15 feet. And this one was bigger, which is fine because we know how to scroll. And when you scroll out far enough, your grid does kind of disappear. And you can change the size of the grid, but we won't go into it right now because we don't need to. Anyway, so there it is. There's the cube. So whenever you click on any object that you've made, be it a line, surface, polygon, whatever it is, it's going to come up with this symbol. And if it's not coming up with this symbol, head down to this area at the bottom of the screen, and you want to make sure the Gumball is on. If you turn it off, nothing shows up. But if you click it down here, it comes right in. You can also type in Gumball, and then you can toggle it on or off. Right up here, and you can either click or you can just type O because it's underlined, F, and then toggle. Whatever letter is underlined is the command for it. So O, that's not O, O being the command to toggle it on. And then up here it'll tell you what just happened. Gumball is on, new value. So now when I click on it, it's working just fine. And then I'm going to pan around it so you can see it's beautiful, and I'm going to go to shaded, which is my favorite one to work in as far as perspective goes. I do tend to like to keep these wireframe, and this one either shaded or rendered depending on what I'm doing. Again, shift and the right will let you go up and down. Then you can scroll in. Okay, so how the Gumball works. So you've got your 3 different axes based on your grid. So your top will only show this ones that let you move left and right and up and down. Front will actually move up, and this one will let you move sideways. And you can see all of that happening in your perspective screen. And I kind of want to push like something down so you can see it, see like the change happening. So I'm going to take another one and I'm going to make it look like this, just as like a scale of reference, so you can see where it's going. And also kind of you can see this. You can see that since this is underneath, you can see it underneath down here. So you see it longwise being the front, which would be this way. This one, you see it going this way. And then this one, you see it this way. And again, I'm using my right click to do all of this, and then right click and shift to move around. Okay, so back to the Gumball. We're going to go Left is red, and you can see that echoed in the other different viewports. And then we've got right, which brings you up. And you can see that again. Up in viewport is offered in front and right. It's not offered in top. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to be able to move forward. It wouldn't look any different, so you wouldn't really know. And we can demonstrate that just by going like this. And if you look at this, you'll notice it doesn't grow in size. There's no camera mechanics happening. This is just modeling. It's not playing the game. It's not creating the game. It's just creating the physical environment. And now I'm thirsty because that was a long sentence. Somehow wine makes you thirstier. Doesn't make any sense. Okay. What other things the Gumball will do, you'll notice these squares around here. So the red square, if you were to just pull it, will expand on equal sides, left and right. The green square will, oh, this is a really good, helpful tip. Control Z. If you don't like anything, you Control Z it. It's gone. It's out of your life. And this will usually go back quite a bit. Keep clicking Control Z. You can Control Z a lot in 3D modeling. It feels great. Make it go away. If you ever need to redo anything, you can go up here to Edit, and then you can just redo. And you can redo multiple if you want to. Oh, and you get a pick. Okay, so Gumball widen, and then you're like, oof, no, I liked it better as a square. But wait, what if I wanted it taller? That's the blue, up and down. Taller or shorter. Let's not be too picky here, whatever you want. And then obviously green, same kind of situation is gonna happen. Control Z that to get it back. Control and Z. I press Control first and then Z, because if you press something else, it comes up here at this top, and it's not nap time yet. Okay. The other thing that Gumball can do is you can pick any one of these little squares, and if you hold Shift, so first press Shift and then press the square, it will exponentially scale. It'll scale it together all at once. So it just widens, and you can see how it's still a perfect square. And you can do the same thing coming down. Press Shift and then the left trigger. I don't think anything happens if you press the right trigger. Nope, nothing. And then the last two more functions that it has. It's got this little box right here. And it's in every screen, and you'll notice that it's different colors in every screen, and it mimics the colors that you're seeing. So red and then green. That's because in each screen you can move. So this one changes, which is, I try to avoid moving anything in perspective if you can help it, because it's not always super predictable where it's going to go. It has these help marks, but I think they can get a little complicated, and usually I want to be a little more precise than that. So I'll go over into one of these 3 viewports, which again, if you decided you hated these viewports and you wanted to get rid of them, you might have clicked on this to double click, so you only had this. To get it back, double click on this arrow. And now you have these again. These 4 viewports. Okay, so click on this. So right here you've got the green and you've got red. That means you can pick it up and it's going to stay on that plane. So you can see as I'm moving it around, it's not changing in the other viewports what plane it's on, only the top viewport is changing. It's only moving in this kind of horizontal direction. The same will go of the top. So if I click this and I spin it, it's only going up and down and side to side. It's not getting out of its, it's not going left or right. It's not getting out of its plane. Forward, back, up and down. So I find that to be a lot more precise when you're modeling if you want to get it somewhere. Oh, and then one more thing the Gumball can do. So this one I am going to make this look a little longer so it makes a little more sense. So now that it's longer, you see these little swoops from A to, from this side to this side, from this side to this side. And then you've only got one swoop in each one of these. I don't know what it's called. It's a swoop to me. It probably has a real name. So what you're going to do with this one is if you click on it, it's going to tell you an amount. I'm not going to do that. You can just hold it and you can spin it. And that lets you rotate. If you want to rotate and keep it sticking on its grid, so that way it's not these weird angles, press the Shift key and it will lock as it turns. So you can see it turning kind of in This isn't quite a weird enough shape to be able to see it, so I wonder if I just make it a little weirder. So weird, it's so flat. Okay, and now if you're, you press this button, shift button, while you're right or left clicking to spin it. You can see how it changes, but it stays versus this, where it's a little more loose. And then Control Z obviously gets rid of things, and that will do the same thing in all of these when you click on any object. Free range, and then very type A personality going on right now. And then if you want to put an angle, if you say I want to turn it 45 degrees and only 45 degrees, just type in the number, don't make a degree symbol or anything, and then you click it and it spins 45 degrees. Then 90 degrees. It will just spin based on that. And only on its axis that it's on if you click one of these. You have all the options on here. Again, I don't love doing stuff like that in the perspective because it's too easy to mess up. And when your model gets big, it gets complicated and you want it as simple as possible. Okay, I think that's it for the gumball. Keep drinking.